Hello, my name is Ellen Boris, and I am privileged to be the principal of Sandwich High School and STEM Academy. Effective May 3rd, 2010, the state of Massachusetts signed into legislation the anti-bullying laws. Each principal throughout the Commonwealth, grades 7 through 12, is required to train teachers, coaches, students, and parents to understand the new legislation in Massachusetts on anti-bullying. This presentation could be used for any of the above groups. What is bullying? Bullying is defined as a repeated use of written, verbal, or electronic means to make another person feel intimidated, less valued, or insecure. Bullying is more than conflict. Bullying is characterized by an imbalance of power. It could be age, social group, popularity, or academic ability. Sadly, a student who is feeling bullied may begin to suffer academically, may not want to come to school, may lose interest in a club, may not feel comfortable going to sports practice, or in general, may feel that his or her presence at the school is going to result in some form of intimidation. The form of bullying that is perhaps most prevalent in high schools throughout the country is not what we used to think of bullying, which was physical intimidation. In fact, it is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is defined as the misuse of technology, the creation of a web page or a blog in which the creator assumes another's identity, the knowing impersonation of another person as an author, posted content if the impersonation results in bullying, as defined above. Cyberbullying may include conduct such as sending derogatory, harassing, or threatening emails, instant messages or texting, creating websites that ridicule others, or disseminating inappropriate pictures or images of others. Students throughout the Commonwealth and throughout the country are being cautioned about the negative impact of cyberbullying, not only on the perceived victim, but most definitely on the perpetrator. Sadly, the landmark cases, specifically in Massachusetts, have everything to do with cyberbullying and very little to do with physical bullying. What is retaliation? Retaliation is any form of intimidation, reprisal, or harassment directed against a person who reports bullying or provides information during an investigation. Bullying, cyberbullying, and retaliation are prohibited in our schools. It is very important to emphasize this with our students. Students are bound by law to report bullying, to be honest with their coaches, their teachers, their administrators. In our school, we are very blessed to have a strong student support team. Many students will report these issues to our school nurse, our social worker, our behaviorist, our school psychologist, or it could be a school secretary, cafeteria worker, bus worker, an adult with whom they have developed a trusting relationship. Bullying must be reported. Do these laws apply to off-campus, school, and school-related events? Yes, they do. What does this mean for our coaches and staff? At Sandwich High School, in the land of Blue Knight Pride, we have always worked to prevent and intervene when bullying was suspected. Our coaches have shown a pattern of prompt reporting, which allows administration to intervene early. This law, however, requires an enhanced focus on our procedures for prevention and intervention. If you, as an athlete or a coach, or even a parent or a spectator, are told about behavior that may be bullying, you are required by Massachusetts general law to report this to an administrator of athletics, that would be Mr. Murphy, to myself, or to our assistant principals. That could be Ms. Hebb in the STEM Academy, Mrs. Wagner, or Mr. Hill at the high school. Coaches should report any instance of suspected bullying or retaliation to Mr. Murphy, the principal, or the assistants immediately. Reporting must follow the event immediately. If it was at practice, on a bus, or at a game. Timely investigation by principal or designee is required. Upon determining bullying or retaliation, the principal promptly notifies the parent or guardian of the aggressor and the victim. Reporting to parent and guardian conforms to laws regarding student records confidentiality. No revealing of students' names or disciplinary action is given to the other parent. So in other words, I would be working with each family separately, the victims' families and the reported perpetrators' families. How can you help prevent it? As an athlete, you can model and promote respectful language. As a coach, you can model and promote respectful language. You can foster respect for differences and diversities as an athlete and a coach. You can let athletes know what you expect of them as a team and individuals. This is something that every coach and every captain should keep in mind. Let your team know what you expect and model those behaviors. Make your team a team that is known for its prompt response to anything that might violate this anti-bullying legislation. So summary. The new law, effective May 3, 2010, enhances our focus on school climate, hazing, and bullying in our schools. The high school student handbook policies and procedures provide explicit disciplinary responses to bullying, hazing, cyberbullying, and retaliation. It is your responsibility as a coach and as a student to become familiar with this information. All members of our school community have responsibility for keeping our students safe. We are counting on our coaches to set examples and not to tolerate students who might create unsafe or threatening situations for others. Hazing is different than bullying. Hazing means any conduct or method of initiation into any student organization, whether on public or private property, that willfully or recklessly endangers the physical or mental well-being of a student or person. One does not have to read the news too often to find stories of horrific hazing at the college level. Not confined to athletics, a most recent example several years ago was actually a marching band. Remember, the difference is hazing, unlike bullying, is any conduct or method of initiation. That's when a student wants to be a member of a group and instead of receiving a respectful welcome, instead suffers the negative impact of hazing. Hazing is well defined in the law. It's Section 17 in Massachusetts General Law, and it bears with it significant penalties for anyone who is identified as the principal organizer. Here is the language. Whoever is the principal organizer or participant in the crime of hazing, as defined herein, shall be punished by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by imprisonment in a house of correction for not more than 100 days, or by both such fine and imprisonment. While a student and or a parent or coach might feel that that's a stretch, an examination of hazing cases throughout the country would confirm that such penalties have been imposed. Section 17, as I just cited, identifies the penalty for the principal organizer. That is the person or persons who organize the hazing. Section 18 applies to everyone. Section 18 is failure to report. The language of the law is as follows. Whoever knows that another person is the victim of hazing and is at the scene of such crime shall report such crime by law. Whoever fails to report such a crime shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500. Regardless of your response to the dollar amount or the improbable case that a person would be imprisoned, we all must recognize that to be charged with hazing, either as a principal organizer or someone who fails to report, is in fact to begin a criminal record in one's permanent record and can cause great harm to a student as he or she progresses through life. So how has Sandwich High School approached this legislation? In fact, it has reinforced our commitment to healthy traditions. Be sure that all team-building activities and bonding events are healthy. They must be inclusive. It's not okay to have a spaghetti supper or a pasta dinner and only have a few teammates. That could be, in a literal interpretation of the law, being viewed as exclusive and therefore in conformance with hazing. Be safe. All team building activities, whether it's for music, fine arts, clubs, or sports, must provide safe opportunities for adolescents to be together. And they also must exemplify the pillars of sportsmanship. Here at Sandwich High School, we are very committed to Blue Night Pride. As you know, the definition of Blue Night Pride is treating people the way you want to be treated and always putting team before self. I would posit that any athlete who wears a Blue Night uniform and is truly committed to Blue Night Pride has already made the important decisions that would prevent him or her to ever be attracted to actions that would be defined as bullying or hazing. I have every confidence in all of our athletes that they will carry Blue Night Pride proudly, whether it's home or away, in a manner that would make all of us very proud. Best wishes to students, coaches, and athletes, and families and fans for a great season and a great year. Thank you very much for participating in this presentation.